All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, back with more Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1. We are up to episode 11. We're at the halfway point of the season with this episode. It is called The Magical Place, and so full spoilers are ahead if you have not seen this episode. I didn't check to see if there was a gap. It feels like there must have been a gap here in between episodes. But here we're back, and it's the search for Coulson begins, and the mourning for Mike Peterson begins. I love this beginning scene. Again, I love kind of being thrown right into the middle of the action. It's kind of like a little Mission Impossible mini scene where everybody kind of has their role to play in getting the thing done, guiding the thing to what they need to do. Very coordinated. Because at first you just think it's kind of chaotic what's happening, but it's all just done like everybody has their little part to play. The fact that they all thought it was a Roomba was pretty funny. But then just bing, bang, boom, the guy ends up on the roof. Everybody, does what they have to do. And there's a Victoria Hand there to take him into custody. And this guy has supposedly information on how to help find Coulson. And these scenes coming up here, basically, it's the scene where the person, you expect to agree with you doesn't, and you think, oh no, why'd they do that, when you should be thinking there's a reason for it. And that's when Skye gets kicked off the bus. When Hand asks May straight up, is she any good on the plane? And May says no, and they kick her off. It's all in phrasing, right? As Archer would say, phrasing, she's no good on the plane. You kick her off the plane means you kind of let her loose. She can do whatever she wants. She's been fine with the rising tide, being able to hack things. So, it was just a matter of time before, Skye would find a way to help. But that's, of course, knowledge that only the May character can know. You know what I mean? It has to make you feel like, oh, but really, how many times have we seen this before? Skye is butthurt, but then she takes May's personality, or tries to copy May, and I think she did that because she still thinks that May was kicking her off for no reason. But it works to her advantage. We get to where she tracks down this guy, played by Rob Huebel. I'm not a fan of Rob Huebel. I don't know what it is. I think he's kind of been typecast. And he gets a lot of parts playing the same person. And I don't like that person usually. I don't really think that I've really enjoyed him in too much. And I don't know what it is. It's just something. And sometimes they're just actors or actresses or comedians, that you just can't, they're just not your cup of tea. And Rob Huebel is not my cup of tea. I'm sure he's a perfectly pleasant guy, and he's been in everything. But I just don't, I just kind of, whenever I see him, I'm just kind of like, Maybe it's because I was watching The Office. I've been binging The Office, and he plays AJ on there, and he was in the way of Michael and Holly. He was the boyfriend that Holly had on that show, so maybe that's why I don't like him. I don't know. But anyway, she uses him to track the computer so that they can find the finances, to find trace back to Coulson, or how they'd find Coulson. I do like the scene where Skye takes down, the part where Skye takes down the guys, and she's really playing it off really good. She's nowhere near acting like May really would, but she's learning, and I like that she's learning on her feet, and just kind of, sometimes the best way to get things done is to just, jump into the deep end, and that's kind of what she had to do here in this episode. Everybody else also helping Skye quietly, and even May joining in later. Because Victoria Hand, again, good S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are like Victoria Hand and May. They just focus on what they need to do. None of this sidetracking stuff. And then we have Coulson with Raina, played by Ruth Negga, who again, she's doing a great job. But I'm appreciating her performance way more than I did the first time in watching this. Um, we'll see how I feel later on down the road when we get to the whole Inhuman stuff. But it's also weird to see her with that hair. But anyway, she's very convincing, and she has a lot of, relevant things to say. And this whole thing with the clairvoyant, okay, let's talk about this clairvoyant. I said before that it's probably going to be underwhelming, but I don't like this kind of villain that always is remaining a mystery, because it can't, no matter what, it can't live up to the expectations of this mystery building up to it. You might go like, oh, it's that actor. That's cool, but otherwise it's just going to end up being like just, ugh. Right? Usually, I can't remember who the clairvoyant is, if it's anyone or if it's an AI. I can't remember. But I just know that like these kind of villains are they're almost like MacGuffins. And they're definitely almost always not worth the wait. Also, the reasoning behind switching out Mike Peterson for Coulson just seems really manufactured. Because they need to know, like, the Centipede program is this big deal for them, right? Whoever this is. And the extremist stuff they've done so much, work on. And suddenly to just go, okay, no, what we want to know is, okay, so they want Coulson so that they can get his memories of the day that he was, days that he was dying and they were working on him. Really cool shot. That is a freaking cool effect. But all Coulson can tell you is that he was dead, right? They know he was dead and now he's not. So there's this like mystery of how is he alive, right? But really, he's not going to be able to tell them how. The best you get is him knowing and reliving, unfortunately for Coulson's sake, which must be a fucking like nightmare of epic proportions, having to relive those moments. That's all he can give them. I mean, maybe they thought that he was going to see like a sign that says what brought him back with a big old writing going ding, 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 ding. This is the answer right here. But it was a real long shot. And I just feel like it felt forced that to remove what you need from Mike Peterson for Coulson, which just doesn't seem that important yet. Maybe it's coming down the road and I'll remember like later on, like going, oh, that's why they did it. But as of right now, I don't understand that motivation. It feels like the writing is forcing it down this road, and I don't like it when they do that. But I digress. We also see the Ron Glass's character was there, whereas, that's how you use your hands. That he was there. And yeah, eventually, okay, so the tactician, all right? This is another thing about the clairvoyant and this group that I don't understand. So they're kind of like the Empire, or what's another group that's like from pop culture that just removes you from the equation like right away. There was somebody else I was thinking of, but now it escapes me. So one mission doesn't work out right, and the clairvoyant has her kill him because he's beating up Coulson and they're not getting any answers. I just I don't quite understand why they feel the need that they wouldn't want to keep this guy around a little bit. He did get them Coulson. He did do all this stuff that nobody else had been able to do. So okay, didn't want to pay another actor. I don't know. But so he gets his answers. They come and they get her, and Raina gets punched in the face. And then Phil does what Phil does, like when Sky asks him, what happened, and they do this thing that they do to so many characters on shows, where he tells her that there was nothing when there is, and so I don't, so many things on shows are caused by the things that people say or don't say or just straight up lie to people, and I don't know. I don't know why they always make characters just deny the thing. I mean, I know why. They want to stretch out the plot. But when you can't do it naturally, I don't understand why you don't have at least one or two people that couldn't come up with a better idea than just the straight up denial excuse that we see in everything. But I do like Coulson showing up in the guy's back seat. Just then we get our exposition dumped there, that what really happened and how terrible that really must have been. And you see the blood for the first time, which is something that'll come up later, like how they saved him. And maybe that's what they were looking for. Maybe that's what the scientist in Raina's character was looking for, was that blood. Because I know what it is. I'm not going to say it here just in case, I don't want to spoil too much of future episodes. But maybe that's why it's important that they got Coulson and not Mike Peterson. But speaking of which, like I said, Mike Peterson, he's back, minus a leg. He's all messed up. This is where he's going to become Deathlock. But unfortunately, he is under the control of these people. So when he does come, it's going to be in a pretty, Shield's not going to be too happy to see that him. So I think that's really about it for this episode. It's pretty good. We're getting back on track a little bit more. And we are getting back on track to like solving the Tahiti thing pretty soon. We know that it was set up by Nick Fury personally, so Coulson's going to want to have words with him. And and so they got Raina, and she's on her way to some shield place where I'm sure she's going to escape. You know who Raina reminds me of? And again, I bring it up. I got my I Want to Believe poster in the back, so many things like I feel like can be traced back to the X-Files, and Raina like reminds me of Alex Krycek. That kind of third-party character that is always in it for themselves and always able to kind of be charismatic and bullshit their way out of things and things like that. The kind of villain that you love to hate. So I'm hoping that I love to hate her and not just hate her as the story goes along. But yeah, so pretty good episode. Anyway, so if you liked this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. I wish I could remember the other thing that it made me think of. Like, kind of like Voldemort, too. Like, how he just takes somebody out if you did a bad job. Like, as soon as you were just like, well, we tried that, so it didn't work, so bye, you're dead. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to be kicking myself, and I'm going to remember while I'm sitting here, and I'll probably have to say in the next video what it was I was thinking of, because that's how I roll. But anyway. This is Rabbit Smirking on Review saying have a great day, and we will see you on the next video.